Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Dill. Even on Texas A&M's bye week, they just keep winning, baby. Four-star safety Kamarui Dorsey in the 2027 cycle, committing to Texas A&M. Mike Elko special. And to the Texas A&M fans who've been rocking with the boys the last couple of years, y'all know exactly what that means. We've seen Mike Elko come to Texas A&M and just routinely bet on size, speed, and athleticism, especially in the back end of his defense. Hey, if you are big and you can run, I want you on my football team. And you're starting to see that play out for Texas A&M on the football field as well. Like, go look at what they're trotting out there on defense. Just a lot of really big, a lot of fast cats, man. I love, and I'll always say this, I love the process because there's a very clear process of how Mike Elko wants to build this roster. Now, when it comes to Texas A&M on the recruiting trail, this is a 2027 commitment. Let me take us back to 2026 real quick. 2026, probably going to sign at the worst a top 5 class in the country. I think with all the chaos that we're seeing across the sport, they're going to have a chance to sign maybe a top 3 class in the country. Fast forward to 2027. And look, I get it's really early. They're probably my pick to have the best class in the country in 2027.
Well, in honesty, look at the two teams that I always feel like are going to be their primary competitors, like regionally at least. It's going to be LSU and it's going to be Texas. LSU is clearly in all sorts of trouble,
Shambles.
if you will. Like you just look, it's like a lot of chaos top to bottom. Obviously, BK getting fired, but even Texas, they're a program like Arch Manning. I feel like has kind of set that program back a little bit. Like it was hard for them to kind of bring that next quarterback along. I don't know. I mean, Arch is obviously not going to the league. They're going to be at.
You think Arch Manning starts for Texas next year?
That's what I'm kind of saying. Like right now, does Texas's future look like Texas A&M's? Like Texas A&M has a much more clear pathway because again, Arch Manning with his lack of success has really set that program back probably a couple of years. And I looked, those two schools being like the primary competitors, A&M with all the success they're having, I think has a really good shot to really kind of grab control a little bit.
Yeah, we in the Texas A&M fans who've been rocking with the boys, y'all know this has been a really big talking point for us where it's like, all right, we got a team that we think can win a national championship in 2025. You make no mistake about that. And your attention's towards winning a national championship right now this year. What gets really fun is when you think about where this program is going in comparison to the rest of the college football landscape. With so much chaos, specifically in this conference, there's chaos all over the place. And then you look at Texas A&M. Dill, I'll say this: I feel about Texas A&M right now how I felt about Texas 12 months ago. Whereas like you were looking at Texas and like this could be the new premier program, not only in the conference but in the sport. The tone is kind of changing with Texas a little bit, and now it's going towards Texas A&M. I'm looking at Texas A&M and saying, look, really good team in 2025. It is only getting better, or seemingly only getting better for this program over the next couple of years. I've kind of identified them as a program and say, you're looking for a team to buy stock in for the next half a decade. There's not many programs I would recommend more than Texas A&M. Now, here's another thing I want to point out about this, Dill. You mentioned LSU and Texas. What Texas A&M has done in the state of Georgia, like elite, man. Because go back to 2026 from you one time. They got 4 of the top 15 kids in the state of Georgia currently committed to Texas A&M. Obviously headlined by Tristan Givens and Bryce Perry Wright. You fast forward to where we are in 2027, you go back into the state of Georgia, land one of their best players. Still, Texas A&M with this commitment is sitting with the number 2 class in the country in 2027. They only have one kid that's committed in state so far. They haven't even started recruiting the state of Texas. They're sitting at the number 2 class in the country. And you said it best when you look at your biggest competition in the state is probably Texas, then secondly LSU. You look at where those programs are right now, massive opportunity to really dominate your own state as well. That's what excites me the most. Hey, Texas A&M's recruited the state of Texas really, really well since Mike Elko's gotten there. But they're going to the state of Georgia or they're going to the state of Florida at times and landing some of their best kids as well. You get the feel that Texas A&M is firing on all
And
cylinders.
now I'm very interested. Can they get a little bit more of a foothold in Louisiana? Because they're always in the
Yeah,
battle for the Louisiana kids, like Lamar Brown, obviously kind of being the guy I think
yeah,
we're all clearly watching because he changes the complexion a little bit of that 2026 class if they end up with him. But that's a state that Louisiana's done, or LSU, I should say, has done a really good job in. I'm wondering now with all the flux there, and can they grab a little bit of a foothold and start pulling a couple of those top 10 kids from that state out of there because it's a loaded state and it's LSU. And then, in fairness to BK, did a really good job kind of holding on to that advantage. Like they
yeah.
got the kids in state.
I mean, you can, if you give me give me some leash here, and I know we're kind of all over the board here, right? We've been talking 2027. Let me take us back to 2026. I made this my cute little Excel sheet for a reason here. I mean, number one, it's a great class already. All the names highlighted in red. We're a big fan of what they have. Look at the names still on their board. Because like Jace Matthews, Mississippi kid, but you're battling LSU for his flip commitment. Obviously, you have Lamar Brown on that defensive line. You said it best. With all the chaos that's going on with a program like LSU, I mean, Texas A&M has a monster opportunity. This is the question I'll ask you. In 5 years, where do you see Texas A&M?
I mean, you got to see them right up there. Like honestly, it's gone quicker. I thought Mike Elko would be a bit more of a slow builder,
Yeah,
and he's already kind of got them up in the top three. Probably say argue 2, 3, Indiana,
yeah.
them right now.
And
Like
yes, well, I was talking more of the landscape of the SEC
well, that's
because
what I'm saying. Like they're right now kind of the creme de la creme, and I would have frankly thought Mike Elko would have taken a longer period because like that was going to be what you loved about Mike Elko, like building a culture, developing guys, like,
yeah,
getting the thing humming a little bit. I wouldn't have thought he'd have it going as quickly as he did, especially after kind of the mess that he was left with.
I think one of the things it was because he's done everything right. I think one of the things that gives me a lot of confidence about Texas A&M is he didn't come in and just completely ignore the high school ranks and just focus his efforts in the portal. He used the transfer portal very, very effectively over the last couple of years to kind of jumpstart the success, which I think is important. But he's put the main thing, he's made the main thing the main thing. That is building your roster at the high school ranks, and he supplemented. You want to take a step back and just evaluate what Mike Elko has done in his tenure so far, recruiting the high school ranks at an extremely high level, and then supplementing with high impact transfer portal
But that
additions.
might not even like honestly, you look like what he's really done is gotten a lot more out of Jimbo Fisher's kids than Jimbo Fisher was getting out of
That's
him.
true
I
too.
look at like a guy like Troy Zune. Like Troy Zune was not a great player in the Jimbo Fisher era. He
Yeah.
is playing really good now. Crown over kind of a similar story. Like DJ Hicks, even a guy who like you were
Yep.
kind of like waiting to like bubble up and
There.
make some plays. He's starting to make some plays this year. So I look like yeah, there's a lot of guys from the Jimbo Fisher era who just are playing at a high level now, and they weren't playing at a high level under Jimbo Fisher.
Okay, so how about this is where we'll round it out here. This is the three things. I'm gonna say four things. Four things I use to evaluate a team and where a team's at. Number one is how are you building your roster? Because you make no mistake about it. When you want to win in this conference, there's a threshold of talent you need to have. Texas A&M's always had that talent. The question was, can Mike Elko continue to do that? Unequivocally, the answer is yes. Great recruiting the high school ranks. And I don't want to ignore how he's used the portal because the additions of KC, the additions of Mario Craver, it's not like we're going out and rebuilding our whole roster in the portal, but when we go out and get guys, they change our football team. And that's exactly what you've had. So the roster building is elite. The player development, you said it best. I mean, the offensive line's probably the best
Look no
example.
further at the offensive line. What
Yeah.
that him and Cushing have done for that offensive line, like it was such a problem under Jimbo. And again, it's a lot of similar guys. Frankly, it's not like you brought in a ton of portal kids.
It's
You
not
got to go.
outside of Reed Adams. That's like the Jimbo Fisher crew. All of a sudden, they got a better offensive line coach. But you can look everywhere else too. I mean, like Marcel Reed there's not a quarterback that's gotten better the last 12 months in this sport. You said DJ Hicks, would completely agree with that too. Player development's there. So you're building your roster the right way. Player development's there. And then you go towards what I would say is, culture, which was a big problem with Jimbo Fisher. Hard to argue about the culture, the winning culture. This team plays their best football in the moment's the biggest. Then fourth, resources. And it's funny, man, when you win, funny how money comes too. Funny how resources come. So I'm looking at it, it's like they got the four things that I think you need to roll. And it's all firing on all cylinders. Everybody's pulling in the same direction. There's a very clear plan of how we want this roster to look and how we want to win football games. This is no surprise. The Texas A&M fans know the boys are fired up about this program. Checking a lot of boxes, man. All right, monster commitment. We didn't talk a ton about the commitment. Kind of wanted to talk more about this program. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. Enjoy the bye week. Enjoy the chaos that we're about to see for the next 12 hours. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later.